Welcome to another episode of Around the 412. I'm Tyler, and with me, as always, are Smitty and Herb. We're part of the Pod Hub Network and brought to you by Statement Games. Go to statementgames.com and start making statements. Nailed it.
He did it clean.
Again.
Clean finish. Start to finish, perfect. All right, well, here we are again, another week with Around the 412. Little bit different this time. We have a return guest for the first time in show history. Beefy wasn't here the first time that we got to talk to him. So Jared Oliva joins the show for the second time. Jared, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic, guys. As always, pleasure to have me on here.
Yep. Thanks for joining. So the first time you were on, we talked a lot about baseball, kind of got into your history of baseball, your upbringing, stuff like that. But I want to know a little bit more about just your background as a person. So if you could dive into that at all, just growing up, where you did and kind of how you became who you are today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if we touched on last time, but, I came like a family of baseball. So my dad played professionally. My uncle played. So since early on, me and my brothers were always staying athletic. Obviously played baseball. I was the youngest of I have two older brothers, so I was one always getting beat up on and having learned some life lessons early on, I'll tell you that. But I grew up in Los Angeles, California. Great weather all year round. Played baseball pretty much all year between travel ball and all that. It was just a lot of fun, man. I had a really good supportive family, throughout my career. But it was people call it, it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's kind of my baseball career as of right now. So, big family. Everyone stayed athletic. A lot of sports, but just very supportive of each other. I was really thankful to have, the family I have, and, it's just been awesome.
Right, yeah, awesome. So I think you might have kind of answered that. I do remember you saying, you come from a family of baseball and stuff like that. So my second question was, where does the love of baseball stem from? And I think you just kind of answered that. I mean, baseball seems to just be part of your family. So
Yep.
You were born
I
into
beat you to it right there.
Yeah. You were born into I didn't send you the list beforehand, but I might as well have because
Right.
you're in my head. But
exactly.
So, okay, other than baseball, though, what other interests did you have growing up and still to this day have?
Yeah. So, obviously, growing up as a kid, always playing around with, kids in the neighborhood, played a lot of football, occasionally some soccer, but, just anything to have fun, stay athletic. I actually played a year of football before high school, and, it wasn't for me. It was fun to be a part of the team, experience something new, but I always knew baseball was kind of my calling. Which is ironic because my oldest brother actually went on to play football. He played all high school, played at New Mexico State, had some tryouts with some pro teams. It was kind of ironic, that worked out that way. We're always just very, very competitive, in just everything we did. It's still to this day, if I go home, we always try to one-up each other on something.
Right.
So, it's just very cool to have that part. And, now going through the minor leagues, and, having my dad and uncle play, just being able to share those stories, on not a more personal level, but now I understand what they went through and they understand what I'm going through. So, it just makes more sense, going through these stories and what they did, just having a good time every time we all meet up as a family. So it's very cool, very special.
Who did your dad and uncle play for?
Yes, my dad, he spent like 4.5 years with the Red Sox organization.
Okay.
And then my uncle, who's older than him, he played with the Braves organization as well as the Angels organization. Both outfielders, that's where I got my speed from, runs in all of the family. They both played there, and I had some cousins who played, collegiately and, played independent ball. So, like I said, we touched on earlier, I've always been around the game, and, it runs my blood now.
Right, cool. So once you got to high school, it was just baseball, right?
Yeah. Once we got to high school, it was just baseball. Thought about doing some track, which looking back at it, I probably should have done. That would have been a good experience for me. But, just baseball. Like I said, my oldest brother played, football. And then my middle brother, he played baseball as well. But they're a few years older than me. So.
Okay, so when you were in high school, or did you even know at that point, like when would you say that you just decided baseball was it? Like this is going to be my career.
Yeah, like all kids have, they have that dream, that passion. And like I always knew it was baseball. So especially when I got to high school, that was kind of the hey, this is going to be the path, I'm trying to pave. But we always liked the game, but it was funny. I was going through some high school like projects. And I wrote down a little biography. I was like 5'6" and like 140 pounds, man, like soaking wet when I was a freshman in high school. Like, so when I look back at it, and I see these kids nowadays, going through and whether they're committing to colleges or whatnot, I'm like, man, I was almost, it seems like a foot shorter and, give or take 60 pounds now. I'm like, a lot has changed in that time frame. But, like I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint, especially my career in baseball. So it's cool looking back on it.
Okay, right.
Growing up in like a baseball family, did you ever have like, or feel like you had some sort of like pressure, like, hey, I better be pretty good at this?
Good question.
Oh, that's a good question. I would say no. But like I said, my dad, family, they're all very supportive. Even when we hit that, the part of high school, which, we talked about last time of,
Right.
basically just trying to crack a starting lineup, but I mean, it's just a weird thing because I always knew baseball was my passion, what I was going to do, but obviously the path was just a little rocky, and, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say it was pressure, but, I wasn't playing, I wasn't doing anything. So it was like almost no pressure, like performance. I was just trying to get in the lineup at first. That was the biggest pressure itself. But yeah, it got a little difficult, junior, senior year when, I see some of my friends, commit to school, see their kind of careers, take place. And, I'm sitting there trying to get in the lineup, trying to, move on, take that stepping stone in my career. But yeah, pressure, it just depends like how you look at it. I think my family felt a lot of pressure when I took the walk-on spot at U of A. But real, financially too, paying, college tuition out of state, that's a whole nother story. So I feel like it was a lot of pressure on them financially, but, they allowed me to go out there and, play the game of baseball. And, if things worked out, so they supported me the whole time. So nothing real tough, pressure-wise. It was just competitive with my brothers. But yeah, no real pressure. Dad kind of let us, do our thing, review the game, but he wasn't trying to manipulate everything we did.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. I mean, so you touched on it last time. If you search your name on Google, the articles just all come up the exact same about your rocky path in this tough journey that's been to the minor league system. So what is the best advice that you would give to a young ball player?
Oh, man. There's a lot. But, no, honestly, there's this quote that I've always had since my, freshman year in college. I think it's a Babe Ruth quote saying, it's hard to beat a person who never gives up. And honestly, that's how it is. It's, baseball, it's a humbling game. Guys mature at different points in their life and all that, kind of what we were talking about. I was 5'6" as a freshman. Now I'm 6'3", so it's like a lot of things happen. But the more someone can stick to it and, show up each day with that drive, to get better, to, find a career in it, you're going to separate yourself just because of that. And, the rest will take care of itself. Not saying everyone will, get drafted, play professionally, all that. But I feel like kids will definitely find success in wherever they do if you put your mind to it. You work hard. You hear it all the time, but you really just got to believe you could do it. That's the biggest thing. And over time, you'll be amazed how people quit playing. Things change. People get hurt. Whatever it is. But you never give up. That's the biggest thing. It keeps you in the game longer, obviously, and there's a lot of other things we could touch on, but that's the first thing that comes to mind, man. Just never give up.
Right. Cool. It's simple, but it definitely defines what you've become today so far. And all right, so you're kind of starting to ramp up activities as we gear towards the season here. But what's your typical off-season routine? I'm sorry.
what I've been up to this off season.
Yeah.
I actually just got back from Florida this past week, doing a hitting camp down there and strength camp. So Pirates do a good job of, every month it seems like we're out. They're flying us to Bradenton, our spring training site, and working on whether it be, we did base running stuff and technique form running in December, as well as hitting camp, and this past week was all hitting. So it's a little different for every guy, but I like to take a little bit of time off the actual baseball part, hitting and throwing, and just really focus on getting my body right. I've just been doing some yoga, believe it or not. Getting into that, trying to get a little more flexible, but
going the Cervelli route.
We've been living out. No, honestly, and man, I wish I would have done it a long time ago. I'll tell you that. But yeah, just been living out in Arizona, where I went to college at.
Mm-hmm.
Got an apartment with a roommate who's at the Orioles. So, we're just doing our thing, working out, competing with each other, which is a good thing. And going home, seeing family, traveling around a lot, do some community service work. So it's been a busy off season, but all in a good way. We're seeing a lot of people we haven't been able to see in a while. And yeah, once baseball keeps up now, I'm actually at our college field right now in Tucson. Just got done hitting, training with their team. So that's something I'll be doing kind of each day moving forward now. And taking the things we learned in the hitting camp and, applying them, on the field.
Yeah, cool. So you got to go to Staples Center, see LeBron play.
Oh, yeah.
Before he got hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, you just got to respect it. I didn't get to see Kobe play, so I wanted to go see LeBron, and that was that was something special. I'll actually be going to another game with my dad here next week. That was his Christmas present, so we're both looking forward to doing that.
Who they play for that game?
They're facing, I believe, the Timberwolves that game, so it should
okay.
be a pretty good game. And hopefully LeBron's back and playing. That's the biggest thing.
Right, yeah, because, I'm sure when you got those tickets, that was the expectation, so.
Right, exactly. A little groin injury, but I assume he'll be back next few days, so we're looking forward to it, man. Gotta respect greatness right there.
Right.
Maybe you'll see Kyrie next year in LA. with everything that happened the past day or two.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis too. We don't know what's going to happen, man. Who knows?
The new super team. Yep. All right. So I actually just threw this question there now. I didn't have this originally on the list, but I'm kind of curious.
Oh yeah.
During the season, what is life like for a minor leaguer?
Oh yeah, that's a great question right there. It can get, if you ask kind of like the ordinary person, I feel like it's very monotonous doing the same thing every day, but it's big for guys to, it's something new each day, which that was the biggest thing I took away. So, most games we play at night this past year, so I was still able to cook breakfast in the morning, kind of, get my routine down and head to the field. Pretty much we're showing up at the same time every day, but where I feel like a lot of guys, you separate yourself is showing up to the ball field with a plan of, what to accomplish that day. And as kind of simple as it sounds, it's just a matter of doing it each time you go to the yard and having a purpose for everything you do, whether, you're working on something in BP or defensively. I feel like there's something new each day I could bring to the yard and work on, learning from the last game or whatever it might be, where a lot of guys kind of get caught in, going through the motions and, it's just another day. That's where I feel like was big. My first full season learning is, how can you keep your mind stimulated at what you do, have a purpose for, your BP, your game. And over the course of a 142 game season or whatever it is, that definitely, pays out, consistency wise and all that. Do you want to dive down more into like routine, what I do?
Yeah.
Or just kind of what it's like? Okay. Yeah. I didn't know which avenue to go down that question.
Both, because there's like a follow-up question. So yeah, you specifically, but then I have another question kind of ties into it. So
okay, yeah. So my personal routine, I love making breakfast, in the morning, kind of doing that thing. But once we head up to the yard, we'd get there, just kind of get settled in. I liked either looking at video before things got going, or just talking to our hitting coach. I had a good relationship with all the coaches, but just talking about what went on the day before, whatever, so I get a plan. and usually the night before, I go through the game, write down all my game notes, journal all my at bats, just whatever it is, I write it down. That way I can remember it going forward. So I'll review those, and then we normally pick up right into it. We either work out or go out, stretch, get ready for kind of our pregame, batting practice and defensive work. Go through that with the team. Come back in, normally get a bite to eat. We're lucky we had some nutritionists at all of our affiliates, so they cooked us really good food, so we can go up there. And yeah, pretty much from there, some guys like to listen to music, go take a shower, wherever it is. I like getting myself ready earlier, and then I would always go hit before the game in the cage. Because normally I let off during the year, so I was like, okay, I need to get my swing going again. So I would go through, we would hit a little bit, get my routine down, go out game time, and everything is so by the minute, and with our scheduling in pro ball. So we'd go out, stretch, warm up again. They'll do the little highlight video thing, would take the field, and it was go time from there. So now that was pretty much every day. We had a really good facility over at LECOM, so we had the luxury over there using the spring training site. So that was cool. That was really cool.
Right. Now, as far as your preparation, you were talking about game notes, looking at film and stuff like that. Is that kind of stuff that's stuff that you do on your own, or do a lot of guys on the team, all do that together? Or what?
Yeah, that's a good question. Everyone's a little bit different with what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I've been writing down my at bats ever since my freshman year of college, actually, just so I could learn from it and just kind of do little things, and it's evolved now over time. But you'd be surprised how many dudes, either don't like looking at video or very rarely will. And kind of the same thing goes with scouting report too. Facing another pitcher or another team. Some guys like taking as much information as they can. And some other dudes just kind of want little bits and pieces, and all right, I'm good. So I like to dive down into it and just see the things I want to look at, have a plan, and move forward. Because with baseball, obviously, you can get a little too caught up in all the numbers and scouting reports. I mean, it goes on and on. The stuff that's out there that you could find, you can look at. But no, it was getting a good idea on the pitcher that day. Having a good plan in BP, and I did the same. Journal all that stuff to kind of set me up to be in a good position to be successful the following day. And we live or die by our plan. So some days it was good, some days you could learn from and bounce back the next day. That's the biggest thing. And that's where I feel like a lot of guys get caught up a little bit is they don't have that routine of what they like to look at, and the days just seem to pass by without them doing something with a purpose. So yeah, to get back to the question, everyone's a little different with the video and journaling and all that, but I like to do both. I like to utilize my resources, put me in the best position to be successful.
Right. Yeah. When we talked to Travis Swaggerty, I remember him saying, he doesn't get caught up at all. Like, he doesn't even like looking at the results of his at bats, because he just said you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. It's just more about the process, so you can't focus on the result as much. So
trust the bucking process.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
He's better plugging than we are.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's spot on. I mean, yeah, obviously you can't get too caught up in the actual result-wise in baseball, because that's going to be a long season for you. But if you're focused on doing the right thing, like we're talking about, the process, as everyone says, and having a meaning with the process, whatever that means to you. Like we touched on, everything's going to be different, scouting reports, how guys prepare. But the more you can get a locked-in routine during the year and something you can go to every day, whether you're doing some type of mental training or, whatever it is to put you in the right position to be successful, that's what the process should be about. Yeah, if you're getting too caught up in, I went 3 for 4, okay, now I'm going to be confident, it's going to be a really roller coaster year for you. And that's where I feel like as I've seen moving up in the levels, guys hone in more and more on what they can control, to obviously put them in a good position to be successful. And over the course of 140 games, the average plays out, everything else plays out. But the more you can be consistent and bring it each day, the better you'll be during the year, no doubt.
Right. Okay. Well, these questions all stem from the fact that I kind of wanted to get your take on the current state of baseball in general, because two big topics right now in baseball are the very low minor league salaries, which is a very hot topic, as well as the fact that it just seems like, especially with this offseason, which like everybody was amped up for, just owners unwilling to spend the big dollars, and that just means more money in the owners' pockets, and that's not a good thing for baseball.
No, not at all. It's the minor league salary obviously is a big one, especially with our minor leaguers, being one.
Yeah.
But we talk about it and stuff too, and I mean there's always two sides to the street, both ways. But I just don't think to go with the salary. I want to go to the draft itself. Seniors, baseball, it's the only sport where a senior. I don't know if you guys know. I mean, a senior sign, they could get like $500 or $2,500, and like that's it.
Yeah.
And if I was lucky enough, being a junior, or a high school kid, kind of the same thing. It's that leverage of, hey, I could go back to school, or hey, I'm committed somewhere, and you could get, the slot value or whatever you negotiate for, that could support you throughout the minor leagues. But seniors, especially if they're making $2,500 from a signing bonus, then it gets taxed out a little bit, and then you're going to make $1,100 a month, whatever it might be. I mean that's not enough to live, man. I mean,
that's crazy.
That's covering your rent, which that'll take out about half, for the season, and then the rest. I mean, you're just going to spend on food, little stuff that pops up, and I mean you're not making any money. Generally, you're just kind of living paycheck to paycheck, for those guys. So like guys who get a bonus, like myself, I mean, we're very like fortunate because you see some of your friends, it's like, oh man, like he's a really good player, all that, but hey, he just doesn't have the luxury of, financially being, I guess, secure during the minor leagues. So that's the biggest thing I've talked about with, friends and people. It's just somehow changing that rule because football guys can go back, still get drafted, and they get a good bonus. Basketball, I feel like it's the same way as well. But baseball, I mean, it's just one of those things, and especially in minor leagues, where it can take guys 3-4 years. I mean, that money's just not going to last. So you could either look at the draft part, which will definitely help, and then I think there needs to be a change with the salary for minor leaguers during the year. Not sure what it can be. All that stuff is all up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's because we don't get paid off in the off season. It's only during the season, and even that wouldn't make a whole lot of difference for guys. But it's literally just enough to get by, and if you have the luxury of having a signing bonus, then it's it works out. But more so, I'm standing up for the dudes, the seniors, all that didn't have the luxury of getting a signing bonus really, and or even a free agent sign, and having to live off that $1,100 and work in the off season, pick up a job, somewhere when they're a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
And I have some friends this past year, and we talk about it. It just puts things in perspective a little bit. On they go home. It's like, hey, what are your plans off season? And people talk about vacation, all that. And it's like, no, I'm going to work this job and this job, try to raise up some money for, me and my girl or me and my family. It's like, it puts things in perspective of, like they're working a real job during the off season when they're a professional baseball player. And, it's just kind of weird to think about that way when you should be honing in on your skill, as a player, but, you need money, like you need financially to live, to eat and all that. So, it's an interesting topic, man. But I feel like it's in the talks, and they're going to make some changes with the next few years, hopefully. So
yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I think a lot of fans don't get is they complain about these guys in the major leagues making so much money and they're playing a game, but they don't have the time like you do. Like people like us, the three of us just sitting here, we have free time. We do this because we have free time. You guys have to hone yourselves to a different level just to play.
And they generate revenue. Like we don't generate revenue by our like. It's like, I mean,
That's-
college
that's-
athletes don't get paid at all, but they generate revenue. I mean,
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but anyway,
yeah,
the,
I was about to. That's a whole other story. Right?
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic discussion.
the reason that I brought that up is I've seen some of the apartments of like guys that have been on here, and I'm like baffled by it because it looks like my basement,
Yeah, it's just a
and
bed.
I'm just like, yeah,
yeah.
and
I've
it just
got-
like takes me by surprise.
Yeah, and I've seen players like not jokingly trade autographs for Swedish Fish because that's what they had to eat for dinner.
No, literally, it's. I mean, you'd be amazed. I think there's some, like minor league grinder account or something out there that kind of, puts things in perspective on what some guys have to go through, whether it be like field conditions and, or just, the way they got to live to try to, make a little bit of money.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy. And like you guys said, like, I just don't think the fans understand it enough of what, the minor leaguers go through. And, yeah, the big leaguers, I mean, they get what they earn and all that, but that's just such a wide gap between, even the big league minimum and what minor leaguers get paid. Yeah, interesting topic discussion. I mean, there's a lot of minor leaguers, so obviously you can't,
Different.
you can't just open up the bank and, give that to everybody. I understand that. I think everyone does. But, I feel like there's got to be some type of room to close that gap to where if you're a professional baseball player, you could make a little bit of money and, not have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Or
if
have
you
another
don't have the
job.
luxury of signing bonus. Yeah, exactly. Or getting another job. I mean, it's crazy. Off season should be. I mean, like say, getting your body right. Honing in your skills, and other dudes have to try to do that as well as work. 30, 40 hours a week. Try to get some money in. So.
No, I have a question
crazy.
about that actually.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm sure you would have said it if you had the option to, but like because it is seasonal, like so my mom is a special education teacher, and you can like make it so your salary is split up, so you also get paychecks in the summer when
Okay.
you aren't working. You don't have that option then in baseball, like to receive paychecks in the summer, or not in the summer. I'm sorry, in the off season.
No. At least I haven't heard about that. But
Okay.
honestly, guys just kind of need the money. I mean,
Right.
we get paid like every 2 weeks, and like each level is a little bit different with how much you get paid. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, you just kind of need the money then. Especially you paying rent, month to month or whatever it might be, food and all that. Guys like to have a little bit of money if they go on the road, and the food you get at the visiting place isn't good. Guys like to go out. Everyone's human. Everyone goes out, likes to have a good time. No, it's only during the season. But thankfully, when we go to these camps with the Pirates, Pirate City actually we have like a hotel, like dorm kind of thing set up. So I mean, we live there, so you don't have to worry about housing. They give us 3 meals a day with snacks. They treat us really, really well. And they've done a lot of improvements with the food, as I've heard the past couple of years too, to really make sure we're get the right stuff in our body and all that. So it's always nice going back over there because you don't have to worry about buying 3 meals a day or cooking or whatever it is. We have that luxury of people there that'll provide that for us. So really cool part about the Pirate system.
All right, cool. Is there anything that you wish that you would have done differently, whether it be in your baseball career or just life in general?
Oh wow, that broad. Yeah, no, I like it. There's a lot of different avenues. Yeah, there's a lot of different avenues you go down. You know what? Honestly, no. I wouldn't do anything different. Even with my high school background and all that. Yeah, it would be nice to say, hey, I was a 4-time All-American. Then I went to college, and well, I ended up going to College World Series, which was really, really cool. But just having video game numbers, career, all that. I wouldn't go through it that way. My path has made me unique and has brought me a whole new perspective. Growing up at an early age, on how this game can humble you and how it can present many opportunities in your life between relationships, family, friends, the actual baseball part, getting played professionally. I mean, all that stuff I would not take away, and the path I've had, it really makes it all worth it. It makes me appreciate it a little bit more. going through and just, seeing what I did in college, the impact I had, on people's lives, whether just the baseball part, community service work, whatever it is. I mean, I still have relationships with a lot of the fans, a lot of, friends and family. It would have been nice, don't get me wrong, to, be a top recruit in high school and, have that road. But the way I've gone through my stuff and handled my career and the life lessons I've learned, that's something I can't take away. It's really made me who I am. If we're digging down deep right here, but it set me up in taking that leadership role and becoming a better person, as well as baseball player. And we can go on and on with this, but everyone's story is unique. That's what I've learned in pro ball. A lot of guys have different stories where they are. It's not, for any kids out there listening, I mean, you don't have to be the All-American every year to reach professional baseball. You just got to stick with it. Good things happen, good people, and keep working hard, and people, it'll work out for you. So very fortunate. I mean, very fortunate for the coach who brought me here to Arizona. Just on I thank him every year. But he's holds a special place in my heart and all that, because it could have been easy to just say, oh no, it's fine, college or high school backup, like good player, but we'll pass. It's Arizona, and how that literally that day changed my whole life.
Right.
I'm actually sitting here at the field right now looking at it, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Brings that.
Oh, you're still at the field right now?
Yeah. They actually have a little little like high school showcase tournament thing going on. So I was like, I'll stick around watching baseball. So I'm actually
nice.
watching their game right now under the lights. But yeah, I mean, like that, I wouldn't change a thing. Obviously there's little stuff along the way, but in the broad scheme of things, my path is unique, and it's made me stand out. It's taught me life lessons, and wouldn't trade it for anything. So.
Right. No, I think that's a good answer. I mean, I'm a big believer in fate and, being where you are today because of everything that's happened in the past. So, if you go back and change one thing, maybe you aren't where you are today. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, there's little stuff you could point out maybe along the road, but no, for the most part, I would keep it this way. I mean, it's been a blessing just going through and, really kind of seeing the baseball part take off, this past, we go back since college, 5.5, 6 years, but just really how things have picked up and, how kind of my career is blossoming a little bit, if we want to put it that way, on the national stage. So yeah, it's funny going the freshman, walk on, just making the team, cracking the lineup, to going to the College World Series, playing pretty much every day, to becoming an All-American. I mean, it's just, I don't want to talk about myself, but it's just cool when I can go back.
Okay, flex on them.
It's cool. Yeah. No, it's cool when I could go back and just see what I did and realize where I came from. And it never gets old, man. Never gets old going back home, just seeing pictures, awards, whatever it is. And just seeing where I'm at today, and just being lucky enough to be with the Pirates, who I feel like everything I value as like a person, between the leadership, mental skills, so on and so forth, that they, highly value as well. So, I mean, like you said, you believe in fate, and, everything happens for a reason. I mean, I'm right there with you. So it's been cool to see my career, how it's played out so far. And we're looking forward to what's next to come too. We're really excited for the season coming up, and we got a really good plan moving forward. So we're excited.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. What team is your roommate playing then? What organization is he in?
Orioles.
He's in the Baltimore Orioles.
Right. Okay. So, question: say he were to be part of a trade coming to the Pirates.
Oh boy.
And he were to ask you, what would your first takeaway be about the organization? How would you describe the Pirates to him if he were coming to the organization?
That's really funny. To be completely honest, I thought about this question earlier today. So that's very ironic. You guys asked that.
Dude, I told you, we're in each other's heads.
We're just synced up, man. We're on the same page. But his name's Cameron Ming. I've lived with him the past, last 3-4 years college, or last 2 years of college, and these past 2 years total. But he's a lefty pitcher, man, and he he has that mentality on the mound that I don't see that often. It's just something special he has when he gets on the mound. That kind of bulldog mentality, that F you sort of approach to things, and stuff wise. I mean, he'll probably be the first to tell you. I mean, he's not throwing 98 out there on the mound, but he knows how to compete and really utilize what works for him as a pitcher, what makes him unique, and why he got to professional baseball. So having him come over, I mean, that would be cool. And I mean, literally, I'd tell the staff, whoever, the same thing I just told you right there. Just his mentality on the mound. It's I don't see it too often, with guys, with pitchers on the mound. So that's what makes him unique.
Right. Okay. But like speaking, what is your first takeaway? If you were trying to sell him on the organization, what would you say to him?
Oh, sell him on the Pirates?
Yes.
Honestly, like I've told him before, because I mean we've had these talks.
Mm-hmm.
How it's very, I mean, there's a lot of similarities to what we did here at Arizona and what we do with the Pirates, between the mental training, whether it be meditation, writing stuff out. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues to go down, but we hinted on it here at Arizona and practiced it. Just the leadership role, and how valued it is here at Arizona, and within the Pirates. I mean, pretty much anywhere, leadership role is highly valued.
Mm-hmm.
But especially with the Pirates, and we both had good careers here at Arizona, and that it definitely worked for him. So those would be probably the top two things I would tell him about, is how similar it was here at Arizona, and if he just goes out and is himself on the mound, and how he goes about his work, that he'll fit in perfectly, and even stand out, and they just really value his character as a person. So that's what I'll tell him.
All right. Cool. All right. Last couple things. Did you add something on this, Herb?
I can't remember.
I think he put something. I think he put something in our interactive notes here. First off, what level of the Pirates are you starting at this season, and what is your goal for this year, if you have any?
That's what it was.
Yep. I was just saying, I don't remember typing that.
Yeah. We won't find out where we're going, honestly. I mean, until 2 days left spring training. That's just kind of the sad reality of it.
Okay.
I'm expecting to make the jump up to Double-A. I'll be ready for that jump. Whatever the organization thinks, I'm going to go with. But I feel I'm ready to take that next step from High A. Just the stuff I learned, and the growth we've had. But goals-wise, I mean, there's a ton we can go down. I mean, this whole off season I've really utilized to map out what I want to do. But to keep it, the controllable parts, I want to take that next step as a leader. I got a good grasp of it at Arizona, with Pirate system, it grew even more, but I just want to take that next step, to where even being a quote unquote younger guy on the team, can still be valued the same as a regular leader everyone looks up to. And, there's a lot more things we can branch off on. But definitely that was one of the top things. And there's some mechanical stuff, like hitting wise, and all that to work on, but continuing what I did and what we talked about of, having a plan for every day, and not following into the monotonous, kind of system rules of, I'm just going to take BP. I'll just feel it out. Like, no, like having a purpose for each day, having that routine I could go to, and really every day is something new. Every day I could learn something. I could go out and do something really cool on the field. So that's what I want to continue doing. And, when things are going right, last year, I had a plan. I knew exactly what I was doing, why I was doing it. So maintaining that consistency, and, the leadership part, and we could go on with stuff, but, it allows me to have that freedom just to go out there and play. If I know what I'm doing, the ability and the rest of that will just take care of itself. But putting myself in that position to be successful each day, that's what I want to do each and every day. Continue to be that, the hardest working guy in the clubhouse, being a leader, how I play. That's just been who I am. And, it's just something I want to take that next step with. a lot of my goals. So.
Right, cool. That's actually, we were talking about on the way here, what level we thought that you would start out at. And I said, you've played last year at Bradenton, so you're probably going to make the jump to Altoona, if not at the beginning of the year, very early, I would hope. And you know what, that's not actually too far from us, so we could possibly get down there to see a game. We were talking about doing it last year and ended up not doing it, so we'd love to get down there for a game.
I was about to say, you guys better. You guys better if that's the case.
Well, dude, like the entire...
I'll be bugging you guys like crazy if you guys did it.
Everybody at Altoona, has our shirt essentially. Like most of those guys you'd be able to match with your shirt. So they're all trusting the bucking process there. Yeah.
I'll fit right in right there. It's a great shirt. I always get compliments on it every time I wear it. I'm actually still wearing it right now. So.
Awesome. All right.
Great shirt, man.
You guys have anything else?
Well, I'm not sure if I should ask this, but I guess I will anyway. The whole talk of the off season for for the MLB has been Machado and Harper. I just wanted to see if you have any guess, if you had to pick, where do you think those two are going to go?
Oh man, well, a lot of them have turned down some big time money.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's kind
it's
of
crazy.
hard to say what they exactly want, but when people bring this up, honestly, I have no clear cut answer. I kind of feeling Harper might go to Philadelphia, but I see him going back with Nationals, even if it's just a 1-2 year thing. But when people talk about it, I always like to bring up the human part and just going through it's not all just about money, with these guys, obviously. There's different ballparks where guys just feel really good playing that, or some reason they never seem to do well at a certain ballpark. Just kind of little things like that you face as a baseball player, or just athlete in general. And it's kind of cool to see. I don't know what's going on in their head, obviously. But, teams who are maybe interested, if that's what's going on, they go, cool place, but I just can't play there. Or, whatever it is, maybe they don't like the city itself, or just kind of the little things like that no one really takes into account. It's not just all about the money. They still got to live, in the city. They got to travel around. What's the organization like? What are they trying to do? So that part I kind of like to think about. But, another thing, too, hopefully they make their mind up, because spring training starts here in not too long.
Yeah, about a month.
A few weeks away.
I'm sure they'd like to know where they're going and, where they can start, establishing those roots and settle in. But that's all up to them. So it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely some blockbuster moves that are going to go on. So
that just seems to be a trend in baseball, though. You're seeing guys not sign until right before spring training, and sometimes when spring training started.
Into spring training, yeah.
That just seems to be something that's going on more often than not now.
No doubt. JD Martinez, I remember last year, it seemed like it was right at spring training or so. But all this leverage and holding out to see if they can get more money, and it's the same stuff you hear about on all the radio shows and all that MLB Network. But I kind of agree. I think it was the Red Sox GM them saying to put a deadline on when guys sign and all that. That way, front office, they know their team moving forward and they can make those moves. And because I'm sure the teams that are in play for Machado and Harper and all that, I'm sure they'd like to, allocate that money to maybe some other guys who are still available if they knew a definite answer from them. Because they, if whoever doesn't get them, they're kind of holding out on this huge contract this whole time about the what ifs, when they could have got another outfielder, they could have got a pitcher. There's still a lot of guys in the market still.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure, from the front office perspective, you love the player. Player, I'd like to know as soon as possible, where I'm going to get my, kind of my mindset, my mind right. So I agree with them to some extent. I don't know when the date would be, whether it be the new year or, a couple weeks into January, kind of like, now, but just so they could get, their financial situation, they get everything down packed, and, they're not waiting on guys, last minute make a choice and then try to scramble around and possibly, pick up a few more players to impact the organization. So it's a talk which I feel like since he came out with that quote, I feel like they'll do something within the next few years. That way guys stop waiting last minute. But yeah, it's an interesting point. What do you guys got? Where do you think Harper and Machado will go?
Oh, Machado's a pirate.
Got any ideas?
I didn't say yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly there's a mystery team for Machado, so we've got a lot of Pirates faithful that are holding out for that.
Hey, there we go. There we go. I was expecting you guys to say that, but
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you on Harper, with the Phillies being the front runner, but I wouldn't at all be shocked if he ended up just backed with the Nationals. We know that they offered him significantly higher than $300 million. And that offer has been on the table since September. So, but with Machado, see,
I gotta say White Sox.
yeah, see, I want to say the White Sox.
Because the Phillies said they're not signing both.
Did he just turn down their offer though?
See,
Did they just offer him?
There's so many like conflicting reports on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he
And-
turned it
Really?
down
Okay.
necessarily, but I think the fans just think he's going to turn it down.
Right, but and that's the
Okay,
question. It's
that
like
makes sense.
the thing that we're coming out with, or you're probably talking about that came out was 7 years, $175 million, right? Is that what you saw?
Yeah, it was something
Right.
like that. Or
So
maybe
then-
it was 8 years, 240. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what it
so
was.
that's the thing. Like, then a conflicting report comes out that it wasn't 7 years; it was 8 years, and then another thing comes out that the White Sox wouldn't touch more than 7 years. So it's like
And then I
so
think
many
his
things
agent
are up in
said
the
it was
air.
much
and-
more than 175 million.
Yeah, and his
I-
dad's saying that he has offers from the Dodgers and all these other teams. Like,
Just a mess.
yeah,
Meanwhile, the Pirates are hiding in the corner, just waiting to pounce on him.
right.
Yeah. I was about to. Yeah, there's a lot of money getting thrown around too with those reported deals as well. I mean, they talk about $5-6 million a year is not that big a deal. And it's like, oh my gosh, man, like how
Yeah.
much that
Yeah.
can impact their families and their lives, and it's crazy.
Well,
But,
Yeah.
And it's
You know,
I mean, I feel like they'll make the right choice wherever they want to go, and I don't feel like money's the sole reason that's driving their decision. That'd be stupid if they did.
Agreed.
I'm sure they got it all. They know what they want. They're just kind of waiting on the right spot, right city, and the financial stuff. I mean, that's a whole nother story.
Right. And it came to my mind as you were talking about, like trying to get like the things that people don't think about, the fans, as far as like, it's not all about money. This occurred to me as you were saying that too. What about like another thing that people might not think about? Guys that are on like the bubble for the 25-man roster or something like that. And then all of a sudden they're
Oh,
pushed out of
yeah.
a major league job because a team signed a Machado
Yeah.
or a Harper.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's another very good point. I mean, that's spot on too. I'm sure. Obviously nothing secure, in athletics and all that. But yeah, I'm sure guys would like to know, well, one, who their teammate's going to be, if he's going to be a teammate or not, so they could get that relationship going. But yeah, too, when it comes down to your job, I'm sure you're a shortstop or, outfielder with Harper. That, yeah, guys would like to know, what's going on in that part, because that kind of branches off too on, what I was saying with picking up other guys. Well, I mean, if that is the case, Machado goes somewhere, or Harper goes somewhere, and a guy, one guy goes in or up, one guy goes down. It's late for other teams to pick up that guy as well, if that's the case. Depending on the guy's situation. But so I mean, it's tough because everyone talks about time and everyone wants to have their rosters, done by spring training, and when players are still moving around, bouncing around by a couple weeks before that, it doesn't put anybody really in a great position, to find the right spot they want to play at. So it's definitely not benefiting the other players, I guess. So yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I never really thought about that for the current guys on the team.
Right. Yeah. Did you have something you were going to say?
Not about this.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
no. What now?
It was just something different.
All right.
Another thing that's been in the news for sports a lot lately is the whole Kyler Murray situation, and I just
Oh.
wanted to know if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
what his decision is.
Yeah, we were talking about this during the past week when I was with the guys in Florida. I mean, I totally see his situation of asking for, what was it, reportedly $15 million from
Yep.
the A's to sign. It seems outrageous as a baseball player because, one, nothing's guaranteed as, going into the minor leagues if you're going to pan out and all that. So that's one thing. But seeing it from his perspective, he would be giving up a lot of money, obviously, if he went the football route. So I totally get the leverage situation. He has all the leverage in the world. And, a lot of people, don't really realize. I mean, he would be going to, high A or, wherever it is. He's not going straight to the big leagues, obviously. So I gotta agree with Murray. You know, it would have been great for the game of baseball, I feel like, to see a guy like that choose baseball. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, him going football is probably the safer route. I'm not sure where he's slotted to go in the draft or anything. I don't have any NFL scouts, you know, in my contacts, but you know, I feel like that's probably the best decision for him, I guess, financially as well. You know, also just like, you know, which sport does he really have that passion for, you know, that he loves doing? You know, whether I hope it's football, you know, and that's what he chose. But it would be hard to make a pure financial decision, you know, and maybe choose baseball, a sport he likes, but, you know, doesn't have that love for it. And, you know, being able to go through the minor leagues. And, I mean, yeah, like I said, no guarantee you would pan out, go to the big leagues, but, you know, you'd make that reportedly $15 million, whatever it is. So, I mean, he made the right choice financially. And, you know, hopefully football is a sport he always has that passion for. Because, I mean, he's one hell of a player, obviously, at both. I mean, you just gotta respect the decision. I mean, that's a tough thing to go through. You know, the whole nation pretty much talking about it.
Right.
And you know, this choice, you know, really impacts his future. Obviously, at you know, whatever sport. So, just hopefully he made the right decision. You know, by his heart and not, you know, money. That's what I'm getting down to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, so on our show a couple weeks ago, I actually brought this up.
Yeah, you patted his ego there.
Yeah, you just blew up my ego saying that he made the right choice, because I made an argument a few weeks ago for him to pick football over baseball for some of the points you were pointing out. Because when people think, it's like, oh, would you rather sign a baseball contract or a football contract? It's like, oh, baseball, you can play forever and you make a ton of money. But then you pointed out, like, you have to go through have to go through the minor leagues, and then you have to reach arbitration and stuff like that. And I mean, most people don't even have the opportunity to play one professional sport, and he had to choose between two of them. So that's a tough decision for him.
Right.
So
being devil's advocate to that, because I think that he should have chose football too. I mean, we agreed on that on the show. Like you said, really not knowing where he's going to get drafted. So if he gets drafted in the first round, it's for sure that was the better choice, because he gets the first 4 years fully guaranteed. Now, as you go down, say he were to slide out of the first round, which something came out today where Benjamin Albright, who covers the NFL, said that talking to every GM, he doesn't think that he's going to go in the first two as of right now.
Oh, really?
Now the second round, you get 3 of the years guaranteed as you go down into the third round. Then it eventually, it obviously becomes 0 years fully guaranteed. So, I mean,
but he wouldn't reach that.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, I don't see him not getting taken in round 2. I think
personally, I think he's
going
to be first round.
Yeah, but so I mean, he just has to get good advice from his agent and know exactly, you know, what range am I going to go in the NFL draft if I'm going.
And the thing is, like, the report of asking the A's for $15 million if you want me to play baseball. It's like, if he goes in the teens in the first round, he's probably going to get a guaranteed contract around $20 million in the NFL. Right. So it's like he has to have that incentive to even want to play baseball. But to bring up you were talking about his his love for baseball or football. I actually brought that up as if he loved baseball more than football, he could have been a minor leaguer last year and not gone back to Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. That's a really good point. That's fun. It reminds me of I got that Tyler Gaffney on my team.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and Braid's in the first. I mean, he did the same thing. I mean, he was a two-way guy at Stanford, and you know, got drafted after his junior year of baseball, and then said, "Hey, now I want to go back win a Rose Bowl." And so he went back and he killed it. He had a terrific year and chose the football route. And I mean, he walked away with a couple Super Bowl rings, and really got to impact some organizations, and just learning what he learned. Playing with the Patriots, playing with Carolina, Jacksonville, and just seeing how he goes about his things. I mean, there's a reason why the guy stuck around. It's his choice to leave. So it takes a special person to play two sports regardless. But I mean, just to play one sport at that highest level is something unique. And staying healthy, which you guys brought up too. The football route, obviously, it's probably a little more risk of injury rather than baseball, obviously. So it's an interesting talk, but I feel like he made the right decision, with this stuff, and we'll see moving forward how it pans out for him. But I mean, it's hard to turn down, what type of athlete he is and all that. So I'm sure he'll be successful. Whatever route he would have chose, I knew he would have been successful. But football is probably the better option. I mean, you guys hinted on all of it too, points that I didn't even think of. So
yeah. Plus, I think we also brought up that it might be a little hard because we talked with you about the the living situation for minor leaguers, and it's like it'd be hard to win the Heisman and you're on that high of highs, and then you're picking up your own balls and carrying your own bat and stuff, and then you're riding the team bus with everybody else, and it'd be a different situation.
So true right there. Yeah. I mean, being the Heisman winner, national attention to going through that. I mean, it's one of those things you definitely gotta love it. And you guys said before, if he loved baseball that much, he would have taken it and said football. Yeah, it's been fun, but I'm a baseball player. But in fact, he went back to play football. He had a motive. He had a reason for doing it. So interesting point, man. Yeah, it's cool to see everyone's opinions on what they think of him and what routes he should have taken. But I think he nailed it. I think he'll be set.
Right, gotcha. All right, well, Jared, unless you have anything for us, I think we covered it all.
Oh man, I always enjoy talking to you guys, man. Anytime you guys want to have me on,
right?
I love talking sports with y'all and just baseball in general, Pirates organization. I mean, we can go on and on, but I always enjoy hearing everyone's different takes on stuff and just debating on it. I love it.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We love having you on as well.
Yeah, it was glad to finally meet you too. For me, at least.
You missed out last time, so.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I mean, we'll see you in Altoona at some point this year. So
yeah, let's hope for that.
Absolutely. Hopefully that's the case. So I'll be looking forward to saving some tickets for you guys from the game. So.
All right,
Jared. That sounds good.
I'll hold you to it.
All right, brother.
All
right, talk to you soon. Take it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me on. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Yep.
See you. Okay, so
I really like him.
Mark.
I really like him because he just proved my opinions right.
Yeah. So I have a feeling this episode is gonna be 2 episodes.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's the thing. We were like running so long with him, and I mean, I love it. Like that's Jared Oliva. I hope he has the most successful baseball career of anybody ever.
Not just because we want tickets either. I mean,
no, but he's a very easy guy to root for. I'm glad that you were here
such
this
a nice
time.
dude.
I'm glad that you were here this time to actually talk to him. Like I said, from the first time that we started talking to him and just messaging him, I felt like I was just talking to one of my friends, immediately. So, but when I saw we were getting where the runtime was, I was like, I'm not going to even ask this question. But I already have something that entered my mind as we were hanging up the phone with him. Do you think had Kyler taken that $15 million from the A's, does that open a whole new can of worms for MLB minor leaguers especially?
Oh, yeah. That's the end of the story, and you have to pay them all more.
Because, I mean, we were talking about that with him. All of a sudden, you have a guy that hasn't played a game yet.
By the way, somebody pull up chat. We haven't done that the entire time. Thanks, guys.
I mean, some random dude came in. He said, random guy that just got here. What is this all about? Ryan said, Pittsburgh Sports Podcast.
Oh, thanks, Ryan, for doing the dirty work.
And then
our mod.
Yeah, and then North Shore 9 recently, I think, said, new layout looks nice.
Sure that wasn't Tong?
Thanks, Tong. Actually, we didn't mention
said
that,
North
but
Shore 9.
Yeah.
But, shout out to Tong Win of the Trash Cats. You can follow them over there as well.
Also, Tong, if you're in here, as you can see, I had to change some things, but it's all good.
But yeah, Tong gave us this new layout, so appreciate that. But anyway, yeah. So let's just jump into the rest of our show because we don't know what the run time is going to be on this.
Oh boy, you're getting a double XL show today.
Also, I mean, you asked that question. I think it's a little different for Kyler because not all minor leaguers have that pull of I can go play a different major league.
I know, but are other
sport.
baseball guys really thinking about that? Like, are they just like
no? They're just like, look at him getting $15 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be great for the game of baseball to take away the Heisman winner from football.
Oh
but
yeah, I know it would be.
it's it's a debate that could go on forever. It's a topic that Jared Oliva episode 3.0 will be a
V3.
great.
Maybe from Altoona.
Yeah, live
right.
from Altoona outside the stadium
So-
against the Pirates' wishes.
Couple other things to touch on in baseball. Starting to get the impression, I mean, all over baseball, it's a waiting game. Somebody put out a report today that, it was just John Parado. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But the Pirates appear to be playing the waiting game at shortstop, and
Duh.
he's pretty confident that they're still going to sign somebody else or trade for somebody else.
Machado.
And if I'm taking a guess, I think it's to be Freddie Galvis. If I'm just taking a guess, I don't love it, but if I'm taking one guy out of the names that I've been hearing in the rumor mill, that would be my first guess.
I didn't know Jamal was sitting in the room with us.
Doesn't Jamal want Iglesias?
Well, he originally wanted Freddie Galvis a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
A couple years ago. Okay, when he was a Philly.
And not a Padre.
Yeah, understandable. But yeah, I'm getting the sense that actually makes sense. So I might actually agree with John Parado that they are just playing the waiting game at shortstop. And
Mostly everyone is.
yeah, I mean, but like these prices are just going to considerably drop, I think, once these guys realize, okay, I have like 2 weeks till spring training.
It's
Oh.
kind of
Oh, yeah.
like it's very unfair how the market works whenever the big fish don't sign. It really just sucks for everyone else below them.
Right. See, I remember before free agency started, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking this is going to be a great thing for the Pirates. Like, let these teams that are actually going to be in on Harper and Machado have a bidding war, and let the Pirates do their work underneath and take these guys before other teams can get them. You know, like a Jed Lowry or somebody like that. But
Which he's
yeah, everybody's just he's a Met now. He would have been nice, but
Oh, well.
yeah.
Dozier
Anyway,
would have been nice too, but
Dozier would have been nice. He actually said that he turned down more years and more money to be a national.
Damn.
maybe he
Like-
knows.
he
Maybe he
likes their-
knows Bryce is coming back.
He said he likes their pitching staff. So
Gotcha.
It's decent. Their bullpen's not great, but
their bullpen has been terrible ever since they traded
I just-
Rivero at the time.
I just can't get over fans, like Pirates fans specifically, like on Twitter and stuff.
they're
that-
annoying as hell.
Let me finish.
No.
Okay, I mean, you're right, but let me finish. That they get mad whenever someone signs somewhere else, saying, "Oh, we could have signed them for that." It's like you realize it's up to them. They don't have to sign with the Pirates, even if it's the same
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. I mean, to bring up what Jared just said, it's there's other factors that play into it.
Yeah.
A guy might not want to live in Pittsburgh for the whole season. Like
If he's Billy Hamilton, he should want to come here because
Yeah.
look
That's
at
the
his
only place he
stats
has
here versus
success.
everywhere else.
But yeah, there's so many factors that play into it that people just don't understand. The common fan doesn't understand. And even if the Pirates offer more money than a team,
Ryan just said MLB free agency is the worst. Ryan
Oh,
Platt.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
it takes two to tango, as you know it does with trades and also in free agency. You can't just say, "Here's this much money. This guy's signing here because of we're offering him this."
It's not
I mean,
a video
Manny
game.
Machado did say he was going to sign with the team that offers him the most money, but is that
He
really
said
true?
that?
Yeah,
Good Lord.
Hey, we'll give you 176 million.
Yeah.
176. And any if we were to sign Manny Machado, like this, if this is a realm of possibility, I would want an out after like 3 years, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Definitely.
And I think he would too. I mean, re-enter free agency once again before you're 30.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the best way to structure a contract, beneficial to both sides. I mean, give us 3 years. That's kind of the window that we've set ourselves up for with the Archer and Keone Kela deals.
I'm still in that offer him a 1 year, like $45 million contract.
You're on
I
the
mean, that'd
you're on the
probably
145 train.
that'd be more reasonable. But,
Win now, literally.
yeah.
Literally now, you have 1 year to do it.
Did you guys see Ron Cook's article today?
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
Listen.
I saw Ruga say it was very well written, but everything in it was wrong.
Yeah. Ron Cook is good with words. He's not good with facts and logic.
All like
What was
how
it
did-
about?
Basically, the whole gist of it is the Pirates' offseason wasn't just a bust. They are now in the dust of everyone else in the NL. All because they got rid of Ivan
Did he
Nova.
say the NL? I thought he said the Central.
He may have said the Central.
Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, if you're looking at the NL, the biggest problems are the East and the West, not the Central.
The West.
I mean, even if they did do something, they'd still probably be projected to be like 4th in the NL Central.
Yeah.
So how would that change anything?
Everyone has such unrealistic expectations because they're all spoiled.
Like,
Well, my big takeaway from the Ron Cook thing was like the Von Nova trade being the
that's what I was going
yeah.
to bring up. That makes zero sense. Everyone complained about him all year, and just literally all Ron Cook had to go with is because it's his name and people know him, and he was a Yankee once.
I mean, listen, if he didn't make the amount of money that he did, I wouldn't have minded him being the 5th starter over what we have, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least competing for that with other guys. But, like, it just didn't make sense. You can replace that production for significantly less money.
Yeah, everyone else in the rotation was better than him, basically.
Yeah.
People in the minors were better than him, basically, if not definitely. And they make less. And then with a team that can't spend as much as other teams, you're going to go with the less.
Yeah. And,
So-
I mean, I don't get the projections for this team. I mean, did they overachieve last year? They got
I don't think so.
They got somewhat fortunate with health, other than Chad Cole going down.
And Polanco.
I mean, well, yeah, that's true, but that didn't happen. When did that happen?
Polanco's a baby giraffe.
That was late July, early August, I think. Maybe a little later.
You talking about
I
his
think
slide?
Yeah,
I thought it was like
I'm thinking it was
Late
like late
August.
August, early
It
September.
may have
yeah.
been.
I thought
But-
it was only with like a month left, maybe.
But anyway, I mean,
They were still
normally,
hanging around, though, when that happened.
how many pitchers do we see go down in a season? Like, we end
Yeah.
up having like one starter from our opening day rotation at some point during the
Tyon
season.
gets cancer.
Like-
Garrett Cole gets hurt.
Yeah, that's like
Musgrove missed a portion of the season to begin.
Musgrove. Yeah, Musgrove didn't debut
Well,
until
I'm-
what, May?
I meant
Yeah.
Garrett Cole like not last.
I
year,
know.
But
I know,
yeah.
But I mean, did they overachieve? I don't know, but I don't get the like. I saw what 76 win total, something like that.
Yeah, 76, 78, somewhere in there. And I mean,
I don't know
sure, that's not bad. That's definitely not bad at all. It's just not.
But if I'm putting a number on it, I'm thinking, okay, they won 82 games last year.
Mm,
81.
What?
81.
No,
Yeah.
no, it was A2.
Wasn't it 81 and 80? They didn't play their last game.
Oh, wait.
that was 82 and 79.
That was the year
They didn't play
before.
their last game.
Wait. Oh, okay.
I'm so confused.
They won 82 and 79 and didn't play the last game against the Marlins.
Oh.
I'm just going to double check just because Tyler has now officially confused me.
Anyway, I'm thinking that should be like the
Yep.
number.
Smitty's right.
Like
Don't disrespect the king at Beefy. Who's
Polanco.
the
Polanco.
king?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
If it's Ryan, it's Polanco.
I'm not disrespecting him.
Do you
I
remember,
just look how he
me
runs.
and Ryan going at it on Twitter?
Wait, say again.
Me and Ryan going at it on Twitter last season about Polanco? Well, he was striking out.
You
every
go at it
at-bat.
with a lot of people, so I don't know.
I don't recall it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was the thing I do with Ben, where in the moment he sucks, everybody gets mad at me.
Thank God I didn't see it.
Well, no, it was.
Anyway.
I guarantee you did, because it was that time where he was striking out at balls in the dirt every at bat. He'd go up 3-0, immediately strike out on the next 3 pitches.
So that was probably like June,
Yeah,
because June sucked for everybody
yeah,
on the Pirates.
and that's what I'm saying. I don't think they overachieved last year because there were times where the entire team just wasn't good. They just went on a slump.
Yeah.
And then there was times they won 11 games in a row.
Which,
And then
yeah,
in that 11 games, though, Dickerson and Marte both got hurt.
yeah,
Who knows what happens if they don't? I mean, those two guys were scorching when they got hurt. But anyway,
Shame.
win total this season, I'm going to say anywhere from 80 to 86.
that's a big range. I'm gonna say 82.
80 to 86
You mean they're
because
not losing 100 games?
no.
If somebody says that this year, I will punch them in the face.
People have said it.
If they lose
They
100
have.
games,
Yeah, look on Twitter.
Yeah,
people,
there's-
people
yeah.
have said it.
I'm punching people.
People
meet us at the fountain.
people will say they're going to lose 100 games like again thinking they did last year and they had a winning season last year.
Yeah, I know. People are dumb.
The thing is, people have stopped caring about the Pirates. That's fine. Like you can,
Yeah.
but then don't speak on them
Yeah,
because you don't know what you're talking about.
That's the biggest issue is people actively say they don't care, yet they still watch and still speak when they don't understand what they're watching.
Right.
And don't care.
Right.
So just sit down and shut up. Also, now would be a good time to say, I'll be on North Shore 9 next week. Definitely going to run that show into the ground.
Couple other things happened in baseball. Adam Ottavino signs with the Yankees.
Elite.
That bullpen's ridiculous, but it really isn't, in my opinion,
The back
changed that
end
much
is
from
great.
last year. Yeah, it hasn't changed that much from last year though, and like they still didn't win the World Series. Like people are
Yeah.
comparing their bullpen to the Red Sox, and it is much better.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox didn't need a bullpen to win the
No.
World Series.
With that
So
outfield, you're right. Max
Cody
is happy.
Allen. Cody Allen signs with the Angels for 1 year.
Yeah, that was.
I think $8.5 million.
That was surprising.
Just 1 year or what?
Just the
Or the-
Angels.
Yeah, I mean, honestly I wasn't seeing a ton of teams like linked to him, so I
Pirates
really
should've
didn't
been
know.
on 'em.
Really didn't know what was gonna happen there.
Yeah.
And then lastly in baseball, Tim Tebow doing spring training, 2nd year in a row with the Mets.
Money grab.
Got to sell those tickets somehow.
Yeah, I mean, why not? He might run into one every now and then in spring training. He's got the power, but
he's
also
gonna hit a couple homers.
How hilarious was it last year, him against Max Scherzer?
Oh,
The
great.
entire at bat took 11 seconds,
Yeah. Oh, it shows you
and that's
why
like
he shouldn't
with
be.
time in between. It was 11 seconds with like the catcher throwing the ball back to the
Yeah.
pitcher.
How's
he-
that possible? Like with one.
As soon as Scherzer got it, he was just throwing it right past him.
I mean, like, I understand doing what you want to do. Like, good for Tebow. He can kind of play in Double-A.
Yeah.
He's a serviceable minor leaguer.
Yeah. But you're not good.
No, but I mean, it's great for the Mets minor league system.
Oh, yeah,
that
they'll
they-
sell tickets.
Yeah.
Binghamton Mets? Is that
I
the
mean,
Double-A
even
team?
if it's, I mean, the Mets should be able to be decent this year. I mean,
Yeah.
they always have injuries that end up screwing them, but on paper, they should be a decent team.
I'm telling you, hire a new
If-
trainer.
if they're
and you
not,
win.
At some point, the Mets just for ticket purposes have to bring him up in September at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point.
Well, that's what I say. Say that, this season goes down the toilet again because of injury or whatever it might be. Why not bring them up in September?
It'll put people in your stadium,
Right.
Just make
which
sure,
most people will probably be in the Bronx.
On the other
yes.
side.
Just make sure it's on Faith Night when you call him up.
Hey, he got engaged,
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
I did not.
and I mean, as a minor leaguer, he's not struggling. He's not one of the people struggling.
No.
He's got money.
He already
Yeah.
has money, yeah.
All right, switching gears. The Pens are about to start behind us, so talk a little bit about the Pens.
About to start.
Yeah, you got, what, 18 minutes? 17 something?
It starts at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in Arizona. The Pens made a trade.
Blendizzle.
They trade Derek Grant for
I'm pissed.
Blandisi of the Ducks. So another trade with the Ducks. The first one's worked out pretty well.
I
so
don't understand this one for the Ducks.
Derek Grant
for the Ducks.
Yeah.
scored 12 goals
He-
for them
I would
last
say
year.
he,
I mean,
he was on their fourth
Ooh.
line last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also Blendizi's been doing pretty well.
Well, he hasn't really played in the NHL this much this year.
he's
Still.
got 3
so-
games, I think, in the
3
NHL.
games, yeah, 0 points. So
But I mean, he's 24.
Yeah, I thought he was much older than that.
Played with the Devils before.
Yep. That's why I thought he was there for a while.
Yeah.
Turns out it was only like 3 years.
So all of a sudden, now there's speculation. Does it open the door for another trade?
speculation.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for
I mean, it's really a matter
It's
of
gonna happen.
even
when,
if,
not if.
So I was in one of the Q&As for The Athletic with Josh Yohe, on like online Q&A. You just type in, he'll answer.
Mhm.
Ask him why he follows
And-
me next time.
I'm
You
pissed.
should. That's actually a very good question.
yeah.
That's what he'd say.
Yeah, why do you follow at Nobody Funny? He's like, oh, I didn't realize. Unfollow. But someone asked, about Brassard. I mean, multiple people were asking.
Oh, duh.
But
Right.
he even said, Yohe even said, at this point, he's like, it's like 99% he's going to be traded. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of just when.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, who's the most likely destination? And all of a sudden, Columbus comes out. I don't think that no, there's a lot of speculation. Would they trade in the division?
If it's the best option.
That's what are we the Mets with the Yankees now?
If I want to just keep going back to what Yohe was saying,
Yeah.
he said that, because a lot of people were asking that too, he said that the only way he sees Columbus and Pittsburgh making that trade is if the trade, like the offer from Columbus is overwhelming, you don't want to say no.
Much better than other teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I just
But he said that I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. And he said some destinations, I mean, Dallas has interest, which you saw, and he brought up that Winnipeg might have interest because
Again.
they were interested last year.
they would have got him if,
Yeah.
if Vegas didn't step in.
Yeah.
help us.
So he brought up them, and then he said he's pretty sure it'll guarantee he'll be a Western
I mean,
team.
Rutherford basically guaranteed it.
That's what I was just saying. Because he's a guy that, he's been underwhelming here, but we know what he's capable of. I don't
Big game
want
brass.
I don't want the chance of running into him in the playoffs, which could happen if he's with Columbus.
If it's anything like the playoffs last year, I
Which
don't really care.
We could play them in the first round if like
Right.
things end up like they have been.
yeah.
Mhm. So, yeah, I definitely, if I'm putting money on it, I'm going to say he's traded to the Western Conference. Dallas makes a lot of sense. Now, as far as a return, we got to get a center back, I would think.
You think?
What Yoey said, he doesn't think that the trade would be center for center or center
Yeah.
for like an NHL player. He thinks you would trade Brassard for a pick or a prospect
To make another trade.
to make another trade because that frees up the cap space.
Yeah, especially because he's been doing so poorly, and you're
Because that's
basically
$3 million
trading
off your
Well, the
immediately
reason I
off
said,
your
the
books.
name that I've heard from Dallas is Faxa.
Faxka, yeah.
Yeah,
on
so
him.
he makes $2.5 million.
No, thank you.
His career high is like 30 points. But, I mean, he is regarded for his playmaking. If, Kessel plays on our third line, if he's playing with Kessel, I don't know. Maybe it works out.
Hey, Carolina
But-
just opened up a center spot. So, Ferland, even though I don't want Ferland, but
Yeah, he actually he actually mentioned Ferland too, but
Just go
because
ahead and cover all the topics I have in the NHL in one sentence.
well, he actually mentioned Ferland too, just because. But he said he doesn't know how likely it is that the Penguins could get Ferland because a lot of people will want them, and he just thinks the asking price
it's too
would
high.
be too high for
Yeah.
be able to the Penguins be able to do it.
Hey, Torts,
Um,
we know you want Brass. Take Jack Johnson back and give us Panarin because he's not going to resign.
and he also said like speaking of Carolina, he's like maybe if he gets healthy, you could have like another stall watch or like they had like last year.
That'd be funny.
I mean,
That's
I mean,
that's quite a contract.
with the contract situation, it could be tough. But I mean,
Does he have like any buyout or anything in those years, or
I don't know.
Hell
I mean,
no.
he has
probably a no
four,
trade clause for
4
the entire
years
thing.
left. Well, I mean, I can imagine the Penguins aren't on his list of teams he doesn't want to be traded to. But he makes like $6 million a year, so Carolina would have to retain. There's
Mhm.
no way we could pay that.
No.
There's no way they retain. He's destined to be a Coyote.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
What makes you say that?
Just if they do have to get rid of him for cap reasons or whatever.
Because
It's 4
Arizona
years
is the
that much.
dumping ground for
Yeah.
Cap.
Funny you put it that way. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Just
don't
the
know.
NHL's dumping ground. Period.
I'd say third round pick for Brass. Second, you're not getting a first.
Yeah.
No.
That'd be insane.
Second is the highest I see you getting, but I think more realistically third, maybe a prospect.
Rutherford would have to pull off some ridiculous.
Voodoo.
Yeah. Call a team at
Catches someone while they're drunk. Hey,
call a team at 3 a.m. on
give
a
me a
Saturday.
Peter, give me McDavid.
Right.
all right.
Who's this? This is Jim.
Who on the Oilers would you want if they traded him to the Oilers?
I mean,
Club
like you
bomb.
said, is it
Send
really?
Duge.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it really in the realm of possibility to get a player back?
Pull you, Harvey.
Probably not.
I think honestly, I think he's getting traded for Simmons.
Well,
The Flyers GM apparently told him straight up, "You're going to have a new contract by
we're
the
trading
deadline, or
you."
we're trading you."
I don't think Simmons is going to the Oilers. They already have too much cap problem.
How much does he make?
I think it's only like 4.5, but they're still damn close. They'd have to make another move, I think.
Which
Get Nuge out of there.
might be possible.
He makes
I mean,
6.
their statement was just stupid. Like they're basically wouldn't do anything to get a forward in there, even if it means trading other forwards.
Pull you, Harvey.
Right.
Like that was the exact
Yeah, yeah,
point. Is
right.
They were willing to trade Cam Talbot. Who's their backup right now? It's his first year in the league. Can't remember his name.
I don't know.
I don't
and
know.
Pull you,
That's
Harvey, were the
another-
example.
Is there?
They're
Is there
gonna be
a more
they're gonna be looking
irrelevant-
for a goalie.
Is there like a more irrelevant position than the backup goalie for the Oilers?
No, because he's really good.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like as a position, not
The
necessarily.
backup
who
goalie
he's-
for the Coyotes.
Okay.
Or the backup goalie for the Kings, because either you're not playing or you're getting hurt immediately after Jonathan Quick gets hurt.
Mm.
That seems to be the trend out there. Unless you're Peter Budaj.
Imagine paying Milan Lucic $6 million.
Jesus.
Imagine being.
What was it? Was it 7 years?
Yeah.
42 million?
Yeah.
Who's the other one they have that they paid? Not Draisaitl. It's another big dude. Can't remember his
Nuge?
name. No. Was it Brodziak? Didn't they sign
Buffalo?
Brodziak?
Brodziak's there, but
Yeah.
paid?
Yeah.
Like-
Didn't they give him a decent amount of money?
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I
I'm
wouldn't
not
have
sure.
guessed
I'm
that,
not
but
looking it
maybe. But yeah, we kind of covered everything as far as the Pens go within
Yeah.
that one little bit
every
of time.
tweet of mine
because-
about Blandisi is going to say Blandizzle, so get used to it.
Oh, and you kind of touched on it with the Carolina trade, but
Oh,
yeah, they
yeah.
traded Victor Rask for Nino Niederreiter.
Dumb.
Yeah, why?
He's been traded for guys who are worse than him multiple times, right?
Who?
Niederreiter. He was traded for Clutterbuck, Cal Clutterbuck,
Mm.
and a pick.
Yeah. I don't understand it from Minnesota's point of view.
Rask
I-
makes a little bit less money, doesn't he?
Ooh,
But
a
it's
little
not-
bit less, but he's
Yeah,
also
I
a
know.
lot worse.
Yeah,
do
no,
they,
he
do they
has
need a center? Is that
one
is
goal
that like
this
the
year.
only reason they would do it?
I mean, I've heard Minnesota linked to Brassard too for that reason that they need a center. But
Hey, if this is the case, take him. I want what you're giving back.
I just looked at the replies to that tweet from on the trade, and Minnesota fans were just pissed.
Every bad trade from now on, I'm just going to reply P-U. Buffalo.
Cliff.
Carolina, yeah.
Buffalo got Jeff Skinner on
For
a
nothing.
steal.
Carolina sucks at trading, except for this situation.
Rutherford's not even there anymore.
Yeah. So, what? Anybody can be a GM in the NHL. I'm convinced.
Hey,
Let's test
Carolina. What do you want for Sebastian?
that out. Who is Carolina's GM?
I don't
It's
remember 'cause they
not-
had that whole fallout, remember?
It's not what's his name anymore? Or is it?
Ron Francis?
It's not
Ron
Ron Francis.
Francis.
No.
So
No,
he
he
got
left.
fired.
Yeah.
Shame.
I just didn't know if that's who you were talking about.
Yeah, that's who I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
Don Waddle.
Who the f- is
yeah,
that
I'd be
guy?
better. Some account just liked
I'd be better.
some account just liked our Instagram picture. Their name was Trust the Process.
Yeah. Wasn't there a question mark, though?
Oh, I didn't see.
I thought there was.
All right. Well, that seems to be enough for NHL.
Rob King has a lot of chapstick on right now. God damn.
Moving to football, where we have the most topics to cover, but hopefully we can do it rather quick. I think you added this that Reggie Jackson tweeted about the
Yeah.
Antonio Brown
Did you see
situation.
that?
I saw the tweet. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Dan Carcillo, of all people, got involved in that situation. I don't know if you saw Dan.
What?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
'Cause-
NHL Dan Carcillo?
Yeah.
Head injury.
Yeah.
Like
Because
like,
of that.
Like CTE boy Dan Carcillo?
Yeah, so I
CTE
can't remember
boy.
exactly what Reggie Jackson said. So we'll start with that. I can't remember
Neither
exactly.
can I.
It was,
I mean,
it was basically along the lines of, wasn't the Steelers brought you here?
yeah, he
relax.
wasn't. He was on the Steelers side, not Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I can understand. Like I said, I understand both
Our
sides.
Yankees.
More Steelers to me.
Yeah.
And that was basically the whole gist of it. I'm just surprised of all people Reggie Jackson got involved.
He's a Steeler fan.
Mr.
Oh, is he?
October.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Good to know.
I
But
can't
yeah,
remember why, but I looked it up one time because I had heard that he was, and I don't remember the reason.
can't believe that information's out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Colin Dunlap, funny, said something about the fact that Antonio Brown has not been the same since he got destroyed by Perfect in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Mhm.
And Dan Carcillo agreed with him, saying, traumatic brain injuries, if they're not treated right, can cause personality changes.
Mhm.
So I guess Dan thinks that's what happened.
Mm.
So
See, it's just I don't want to speculate like that. You know what
Oh, I
I mean?
know.
Like it's just I don't want to say that the guy's mentally unstable because like that you're just playing a guessing game at that point with somebody's
He-
mental health.
he has went full on Kanye.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I agree with that. I'm just not willing to say it's because of
It's because
this.
of
Yeah.
his head. Yeah.
I think, at least for me, looking at what he's been doing over the past couple weeks and saying he's gone full Kanye, I am willing to say I think there might be a little bit of that brain injury still hanging around. I'm not going to fully put it on that, but I will be willing to say that might
Well,
be playing an issue.
You can give your opinion. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whether or not I agree
Yeah.
with that being the case, I
Oh, we
just
disagree all the time.
Yep.
I can't say definitively that he's acting this way because of a brain injury
Yeah.
or
I mean,
a
he's always been
personality
like
disorder or
he's always been flashy and a diva, and
And look at
it's
who he's
just
hanging out with
more
now.
amplified now.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, isn't he basically
So-
living with Chad Johnson now?
I don't know.
Seemed like it.
Well, that's the not that.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like he's always kind of had this in him, but
I mean,
It
look
never-
at what Ryan Clark said.
Yeah.
You pay
It
him, he's gonna be a
never-
monster.
it never affected the team until now. You know, everything
Somehow.
could kind of be brushed under the rug because it was never an issue.
That's the thing. Winning negates everything.
Yeah.
Like if they would have won the Super Bowl this year and this still happened, no one would care.
You know,
won
we
a Super
talked
Bowl.
about that. It's like they very well could have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And what would have happened?
What would he have played? Would they have played him?
And you know,
hope.
that's my this is my issue with a lot of things that I'm seeing on Twitter is people are saying, you know, like people weren't pulling their weight or anything, and that's why he did what he did or whatever. And it's like they very well could have been in the playoffs, and he wouldn't have been a part of a team that was in the playoffs. So what do you mean the team wasn't pulling their weight or whatever it is? That's actually something I want to talk about. What is the exact reason, or at least because you can't probably just equate it to one thing, what is the reason that this team didn't make the playoffs?
I can circle 4 games.
Yeah.
I'm talking about areas of football, not necessarily the results of games.
The two things that stand out
Areas
to
of
me.
football.
Because,
Turnover margin,
right,
kicking.
and these are all kind of
Ooh.
things Rooney touched on, yeah.
I think the officiating played a bigger part than most
See,
people.
I'm
did.
not. I have trouble with blaming refs because I just feel like over the course of the game, things
Everything's
even
evened
out.
out.
But
Yeah.
but this is where I'm going to agree with you. That didn't happen in the Chargers game or the Saints game.
Yeah.
And those were the two regardless of if they tied with the Browns, regardless of if they lost to the Raiders, regardless of if they lost to the Broncos, those 2 games you win one of them, you're still in the playoffs.
Yep.
One of the most egregious calls with that false start against the Chargers, or missed false start against the Chargers.
You want- the worst call I have ever seen in any pro sport is that first pass interference
Yeah.
on Kamara in the
Yeah,
Saints game.
right.
That was utter garbage.
That's and the reason that I have the biggest issue with it is like it's a 4th down. It's a prayer that they're just throwing up into the air, hoping they get a pass interference call on, and you reward them with it.
Yeah.
But
That's what he did.
yeah.
Except
I was like,
on
why
his,
is he touching me?
Except on his back. This is what he did.
But you know, yeah, definitely the kicking game as well. Turnover margin, yeah. I mean,
We couldn't get a turnover to save our life.
No.
and I mean, as
Except for
much
Joe
as
Hayden.
and as much as I love Ben, you know, he turns the ball over. That's just who he is. That's the type of quarterback he
Yeah,
is.
it happens.
It's the way he plays.
I've seen,
but
I've
it's not just. I'm sorry. It's
you're
not
fine.
just this year. You know what I mean? Like he's been playing quarterback like that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's worked. And all of a sudden this year it didn't work. They were 6th in offensive efficiency. The 5 teams in front of them all made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were 13th in defensive efficiency. And honestly, that's not even that bad. If you look at the teams like above and below them, like they very well could have been in the playoffs with that. So getting down to it, the biggest reason that they aren't in the playoffs, I can't figure it out. Other than the fact that, like we said, unfortunately, officiating hurt them in 2 of their 3 most important games of the season.
Yeah. And without putting blame on anyone, because I won't do that because I know how that goes, the offense going silent in those games that they lost is horrible. And
Right.
that can be on anyone on that team, coaching staff, players, whoever. You can't let that happen, especially in that Chargers game. That was bad.
I just, Randy Fichtner was great for the red zone.
Mhm.
They were very much improved there.
Oh, yeah.
But between the 20s,
Yeah.
it essentially looked like Todd Haley still to
Mhm.
me.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't know, like, just too conservative. And like you said, when they would come out silent, just the play calling to start
Was
both
bad.
halves, the first quarter and the third quarter, was egregious.
And that to me, I didn't like the Fichtner hire just because I don't like surrounding people with a bunch of yes men. Like, I don't like Ben having that, I'll listen to you, whatever you do. I'd rather have somebody else, challenging him to make throws, not just little dump off screens, you know?
Right.
But
Because, him and Haley didn't get along, but at the end of the day, they were still in the playoffs every year.
Ben's
Yeah.
best stats were with Haley. I mean, after this, but excluding this year.
Yeah.
In his career up to
oh, wow.
that point, his best
Well,
stats were with Haley.
That's what I said. I mean, I understand that too. Like with Haley, we started to get more towards this passing era where
Mhm.
the air raid offenses.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Which
But
is why Kyler will
like,
work.
I know that Ben and Haley had their differences, and I wasn't a fan of Todd Haley. I didn't care that he left. But we saw him how quickly the Browns got rid of him too. But the one thing that I will give Todd
Kitchen
Haley
season.
is he extended Ben's career. I feel like I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the offensive line turning around too, but Todd Haley's
Munchak.
system got the ball out of his hands quick.
Yeah.
Like, that was the whole thing. Like, yeah, it's frustrating to see him dumping the ball off so much,
But if it works, it
getting the
works.
ball out of his hands quick, but he's not taking those hits because of it.
Yeah.
To touch real quick on the Munchak thing, yeah, Mike Munchak is now in Denver, and it's just ridiculous the backlash that the Steelers are taking for something out of their control.
That I don't think a lot of people understand. People understand that he has family out there, like you said in the
Right,
tweet.
and a lot of people are like,
so many people are blaming this on the Steelers situation, like with the
See,
in-house and Antonio Brown.
if
It's
he
like
wanted to get out, he had a different avenue to do so. Like, why didn't he take the Dolphins head coaching interview? If his only motive was to get out of Pittsburgh, like
Yeah.
it was Denver or he was staying here. He was
Yeah.
content with staying here if Denver didn't give him at least the same position that he had here. Like, it's just frustrating. People are like, why didn't they extend him before? He knew that he was going to have other head coaching opportunities at some point, within a couple years. That's why he didn't take an extension. I mean, it came out today that they did try to work an extension with him. He knew that he was going to be up for a head coaching job, and he timed it perfectly that Denver was open. Unfortunately, didn't get the job, but that's where he's still going.
Yeah.
So
he might eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, they could fire their head coach again, and he could
how
be
about
just be
that though
promoted.
by the Broncos getting both their head coaching candidates on their staff? I mean,
Yeah.
that's I don't know if I've ever
nuts.
seen that.
Yeah. Who did the Steelers replace him with?
His name's Sean Serrett, and that's the
Was
thing.
he pretty much his protege?
He was actually there 2 years before him.
Okay.
So the offensive line started to turn around under Serrett. Serrett, with their offensive line drills, they split the offensive line in half, and half of them go with Serrett, half of them went with Munchak. I mean, to me, I don't see that much of a drop-off, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Mike Munchak. I would have loved for him to stay here. I would have loved for him to get a raise, essentially be like an associate head coach or assistant, something. But, it didn't happen. He's happy in Denver. And we have a guy that I feel like is capable. So
Yeah.
For people freaking out, if Mike Munchak leaving is the reason the Steelers are going to fold it and lose it next year, then you have bigger problems.
Yeah.
that's not going to be the reason that they're
Yeah.
under 500 next
And-
year if it happens.
and
That
those
people, all these people are saying like 5-11, 6-10. Yeah.
And those same people complain about Tomlin and whoever being here. Your issue shouldn't be with that. Your issue should be with Rooney.
It all.
'Cause
Yeah,
he's
I
the
mean, it all
one
starts at the top.
Yeah.
I mean,
But they're the Rooney,
It
so
took
they're
him long
sacred.
enough to say anything.
Huh?
It took him long enough to say anything about
Yeah.
the whole
Right,
thing
yeah.
going
And
on.
like Kabali said, he's done more press stuff in the past 3 days than anyone else that owns a team in the city has in 10 years. So,
right. Yeah, that was kind of a weird quote, and he wasn't respond. I was hoping he would respond to some people because his mentions were just getting flooded.
yeah.
But he wasn't responding to anybody. Yeah, it took Art a long time to say anything,
Mhm.
and he finally does, and he's very blunt about it. So it makes you like, I guess he just was taking all that time to prepare what he was going to say. I don't know, but yeah, he was very vocal, very open with everybody. A couple points that we're going to touch on. They're still planning to negotiate one last time with Le'Veon. He even said that
Yeah, as you should.
word for word. To me, I don't place the transition tag on him. If you can offer him something and he'll accept it, okay. I'm not placing another tag on him to have the intent to trade him
Take
or whatever.
the third round pick.
Just take the third round pick, cut ties. At that point, the relationship would be so broken over another non-negotiable contract. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So just take the third round pick, let him sign where he wants to sign, and move on. But how weird would that be? We were talking about on the way here. If you would have told me a year ago today, even, that Le'Veon will be a Steeler again and Antonio Brown won't be in 2019.
If you told me that at the
Just-
beginning of this season, I would have told you.
Right,
you're
yeah.
crazy.
I don't know why I said a year ago today because we didn't, who knows, Le'Veon could still accept that contract,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry. If you
Game
would've told me at the
one,
beginning
you
of the
say
season,
that.
yeah, game one.
Nuts. I also want to say I hope he does resign just so I can call everyone that burned a Bell jersey idiots. Even though they are in the first place, but like Mega,
I still have my
Ultra,
jersey, so.
jersey.
And we also talked on the way here. There was a poll on Twitter, like, who would you
Hate more.
forgive more?
Oh,
Yeah,
Like, for
shout out to
coming-
Joey
for
Bag of
coming-
Donuts.
Yeah, for coming back.
Yeah.
And we both voted Le'Veon Bell over Antonio Brown
Agreed.
because it's feasible to understand what Le'Veon was doing.
Yeah.
Antonio is just acting out radically for no reason.
Yeah.
We talked about it on here. I said, I have a bigger problem with what Antonio did as
Mhm.
opposed to Le'Veon. Like, there's an end game with what Le'Veon's doing, and there might be with Antonio. Like, I don't know what's going on in his head, but Le'Veon's, it was clear. We know that, he was holding out because he didn't get the contract he wanted. Now he's trying to preserve his body, head into free agency, and get what he wants.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I can understand that from a player's perspective. In the Antonio Brown situation, I don't know what's going on there, but it just doesn't make sense to me. If his issues with Ben, Tomlin, whatever it might be, you still left behind 52 other guys.
Yeah.
I thought about this for like the past couple weeks. How different would this situation be if Dan Rooney was still alive?
Right. That was, AB has always been AB, and we talked about that, but Dan Rooney seemed to be like his idol. Like, he looked up to him. If he needed somebody to talk to, that's who he went to. We know that Dan Rooney and Ike Taylor had a very special relationship because Ike Taylor was kind of like a weirdo too. But like when it came to Dan Rooney, he had a way of getting through to him, and it was kind of the same.
Dan was like
way
his
with,
dad.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way with Antonio. It's all
But in that case, as
speculation.
somebody
But
who's like so into faith and all that, that can't be good for Antonio.
yeah, it's hard to get into anybody's head.
Yeah.
But especially with a guy like that, I could not tell you what's going on
No.
there.
Nada.
There's not a whole lot to say on it because until this interview comes out,
So we had to wait for the big interview.
until the big interview comes out, I don't know what's
It's never coming out.
Well,
I know he said it again.
right. Yeah, but I don't even think he's not talking about with Harrison.
Yeah,
now.
I know.
He's just
I don't think he's ever going to do it. It's all bluff.
and I think that I don't think that his agent would definitely tell him, yeah, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Because there's already teams, like the Colts GM said he would never play for my team.
Yeah.
Julio Jones said he wouldn't want him on the Falcons.
No.
Kenny Golladay said he wouldn't want him on the Lions. Like, you have players and
Kenny Golladay said they don't need him.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Then
I mean,
Antonio probably wouldn't want to be there.
That's basically
Yeah.
playing like we're good. We don't want
Yeah.
you.
That's his way of taking a shot without taking a shot.
Yeah.
But I don't like if these guys are saying this and then Antonio Brown comes out with an interview. I know that he says, it would be all positive. He's not going to break the codes of the locker room. I have a hard time believing that other teams and GMs would be okay with that happening.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to take on a guy that is willing to open up like that.
Yeah. He's digging himself a deeper hole no matter if he's on the Steelers, no matter what team he's with. It's just going to be harder to, A, have respect, B, have the ability to play
Oh,
somewhere.
I don't have respect for him.
He's
Oh,
hurting,
yeah.
and he's hurting the return too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm pissed about.
yeah.
Send him to San Francisco. I don't care.
George Kittle.
If we're
Yeah,
we're kidding.
right.
And there's been a lot of people are talking about the Steelers organization recently. But
Oh, yeah, no, I got
think-
you on that tweet. I forgot about that. That guy was like, the Pirates are the worst for an organization, Major League Sports, and I just
Oh.
added all these other teams together, and the very last one was the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he just went,
So- from a class standpoint, the fact that it sounds like they're going to give Ryan Shazier
Yeah.
a contract as a player to let him continue to rehab with the Steelers, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think what they said is it's a player's deal, but until obviously speculation he can play again,
Mhm.
it's a special assistant, kind of like a Dupuis thing.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that. I didn't look into it at all.
Yeah.
It's just it's cool to see. It's
Yeah.
awesome that he still has the drive to do that. I've talked about, I think on here,
Sid just
you know
got
that-
called on a hook and wasn't happy about it. Sorry.
that I would be okay if he never played football again, and I would love to see him in a coaching role on
Yeah.
the Steelers. But that's we talked about. With Tyler, he's got to make his own decision. If Ryan Shazier thinks he's going to play football again, you can't convince him otherwise.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but it's really cool that the Steelers are going to give him a new contract.
Yeah.
When he's not going to be able to play.
Yeah. I personally don't think he'll play again just because that sucks.
Le'Veon looks at that like, what the
New contract.
Also, what is the Steelers' cap room situation?
Okay, once again, going back to what were we talking about earlier? The Machado thing,
Yeah.
where there's just all these different reports out. I have no idea because I'm seeing Jeremy Fowler, who would be a pretty good source. I
Mhm.
mean, he covers the Steelers. Said it's like $18.5 million or something like
Doesn't
that
that
right
put
now.
him like 6th in the league with most cap room? Something like that?
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
And they're gonna make they're going to get more with a Ben extension, and then if they cut Gilbert or Burnett or both, there's more. I would like to see them. I'm okay with Bud Dupree being on the Steelers,
Yeah.
but not for what he's making.
Yeah.
I think it's better to give him like a 2 or 3 year extension where he makes like $3 million or something a year, something like that. They should be able to open up even more cap room than that. They should have room, and they're going to give guys extensions probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you have guys like Davis and Hargrave who are going to need extensions soon. But they should have a decent amount of cap space to add somebody in free agency, a playmaker. I look at a guy like Tyrann Mathieu, who I would have loved for them to have last season.
Cut Burnett and add him.
Right.
You have the money.
If they don't bring back Bud, if they just cut him, D Ford, who's in Kansas City,
Yeah.
he's fantastic. But this is all looking at the free agent class without those teams re-signing these guys or franchising them. But we don't know what's going to happen with that. Like Clowney's a free agent right now too.
Yeah.
Technically, there's a ton of linebackers actually. The cornerbacks are pretty thin. That's why for me, I think that they need to sign a linebacker and draft a corner in the first round.
Yeah.
It's going
As
to be good.
opposed to the other way
It's
around.
all good. We're drafting DeAndre Baker.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him and Murphy are like the two that I've seen
Yeah.
most commonly on mock drafts. But yeah, they do have a relatively high spot in terms of money available. It's not like you look at the teams that are right at the top, it's like $100 million.
There's a
like,
big separation.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you really want to get into it, not this year. Theoretically, if you trade Antonio Brown, don't you get an extra $20 million off the cap next year on top of that?
Well, yeah, next year his cap hits 0.
Yeah.
So if he's on the team, it's $22 million this year. If
Yeah.
he's off it, whether it's trade or cut,
It's 21.
it's 21.
Yeah, and the
and
year
then,
after
and
it's
then for the
zilch.
next 2 years, which his contract would be, it's 0.
Isn't there if they trade him post March something, it's only like $9 million?
Really?
It
I
might be.
thought that's what I saw.
Mm.
I don't know. I haven't paid attention to that stuff recently. I
I don't
may
know.
or
I
may
just know it's like 22 and I've seen 22 and 21, like depending on whether he's on or off. And then, but if he's on the team, like for the years after that, it's $18.5 million, and then $19.5 million.
I mean, the number sounds like crazy for this season, but it's like over the next 3 years, he's only like $36 million or something like that.
Yeah.
So, $12 million for a guy like that, just in terms of the production, not thinking about who he is.
Yeah.
That's an incredible deal. So I think that's where the value comes from. I think that he still is tradable. I don't know what he'd have to do for no team to take him. Honestly, I'm not even going to speculate what's going to happen between now and when he is traded, if he is traded. But last couple things, there are some staff changes. Tomlin's going to get some help on replays and reviews.
Oh.
They're going to put somebody on the staff for that, yes.
Oh.
And also new running back coach, Eddie
Yeah.
Faulkner, coming from NC State, so very familiar with Jalen Samuels. Apparently that's, where the hiring comes from. When they were scouting Jalen Samuels, they liked what they saw from Faulkner. So, but the old running back coach did not go to Arizona like I expected. Well, I thought he was not Arizona, Tampa Bay. I'm sorry.
Oh.
With Arians,
Yeah.
he
Where'd he
went to Arizona.
Okay.
So now he's David Johnson after having Bell and Connor.
Man. You want to talk about a drop-off last season?
David Johnson,
Yeah.
But they had Mike McCoy, who I don't even know why.
Yeah.
He interviewed for the Jaguars' offensive coordinator job,
Mhm.
even though his last 2 seasons have ended with him being fired.
That team had so many flaws. The Cardinals.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
all around bad.
Now he has Cliff, who's like all offense.
Mm-hmm. That's why he's a prime bounce back candidate for fantasy.
That
last
noise.
Thing, last
Somebody
thing,
cut that, please.
Last thing we want to talk about. Going back to Antonio Brown, does he have a burner account?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Talking about the dude with
Yes.
like the Yankees.
I want whoever that is in that picture to tweet him and be like, "Why is
The
my
fuck
family
you
in your
doing?
picture?"
That account was created this month, right?
It was created that day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
I
it.
mean,
I think that his agent told him, "Get off Twitter," and he's like, "Okay." Made a new
pull the
account.
KD.
Made a new account. Yeah.
I mean, imagine being Antonio's agent during all this.
It's Drew Rosenhaus. Like has a ton of
Why?
clients. Yeah.
Why are
No,
professional
I'm saying, like,
athletes
imagine
stupid?
being like this situation. You just sit there and watch. You just watch it unfold.
He
It's
probably, I mean, not to necessarily that degree, but Drew Rosenhaus is a is the agent for football. So
Yeah.
like he's probably seen
Kinda like a Scott
similar
Boras in baseball.
Yeah.
He's probably seen like similar situations, but not to this degree.
I'll say similar. I can't even think of anything that's similar to this.
I'm just thinking like standoffs between team and player, but that's like social media wasn't as prominent until recently. Like when have we seen guys just go on Twitter? And if that is him, like he was bashing Ben and Tomlin, like and
It is
liking
him.
tweets.
And that's
that
the
were-
thing. Everything was about every single tweet on that account is about it like somehow is related to this situation.
Didn't he retweet it at one point?
He liked one of their tweets. It was like
Oh.
a picture of his stats since he entered the league.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am sold on a Tim.
Imagine tweeting your own stats and then liking it from a different account.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I want him to slip up like KD did,
Yeah.
like with his burner account.
Or like Skip Bayless. Skip, love the new show on FS1.
that was Facebook.
AB, huge fan.
That was
Yeah, it was Facebook, but
It's a little harder to do on Facebook. But
Dude,
yeah, no. Yeah, I'm sold to Tim.
that's him.
That's all I can say.
I'm gonna say yeah, that's him.
I hope that we
I
find
wonder
out.
I wonder how he picked that picture.
Google images.
White family.
I didn't even look at it.
I think that's it.
Okay, that
That
was a
wraps
long
up.
show.
Yep.
Still not the longest.
Well, anybody that's watching on Twitch, thank you for watching. If you aren't already following, please hit that follow. When we hit 50 followers, we're gonna do some type of giveaway. I actually have an idea for what I want it to be, but we'll see if I can finalize that.
Oh,
If you were not watching on Twitch and you're just listening wherever that might be, whether it be on Spotify or iTunes Podcast, whatever you might listen on, please head over to Twitch and hit that follow. Come join us when we do our show. You can type in the chat, ask us questions. Follow us on Twitter.
go watch
follow
North Shore
us
9 next week.
on Instagram. Yeah, go watch North Shore 9 because Herb will be on it on, is it Thursday night?
Yes.
On Thursday night. And next week we'll be back with another prospect, Jeff
yeah.
Hartlieb, who is going to be at spring training with the Pirates this season, so that will be pretty cool. That dude throws gas,
Yes.
and we'll talk about it next week. So be here to join in on that. We'll talk to you guys then.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck surviving the snowstorm.
Bye.
We live beyond our doubts in a world where we don't need erasers. Could you ever love a thief? Can I steal away your grief and suspend your disbelief? Let's put on a